Hey, Jackie.
Hey Jilly, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Pretty good. Slow day, but got some things accomplished. So I'm very happy.
Yay.
Um, but I just want to take a moment to welcome everybody to Jack and Jill Art and Culture Tell All. And I am Jackie Rosen, for those who don't know, and my co-host is the darling, most phenomenal Jill Lefkowitz. So, what our mission is to help artists bump up their careers by interviewing people that they should really know in the area and around, and people that will help all of us as far as art coaches, consultants, um, designers, and so forth. So, the experts in the field, that's our deal. Let's all go from here as artists to entrepreneurs.
So, I want to welcome to the show our wonderful, amazing guest. She is a great friend of mine. She is my mentor. And Jen Jovan is an artist and an illustrator of several books. One is called The Storyteller's Apprentice. The other one is called Becoming Sunrise. And I'm the proud owner of both of those books. Jen is also an art marketing guru. She sells 200 paintings a year. Yep, she does. So let's bring Jen in, and she's going to tell us everything, all her secrets.
I love it. Wait, that's the tell-all part.
That's the tell-all part. Jen!
Oh my gosh, you're so cute. You're cute.
Jen, this is Jackie.
Oh, all wearing hats.
Now I'm ready.
Hang on.
Hat. We're all wearing hats now. Oh, wait, Jackie, you just got to get hers. Did you take yours off?
No, I had to get my dogs outside.
Oh, the dog. Jen has a dog too.
Oh,
Mine's outside.
Wonder Mike. Wonderful.
hi,
Hi.
hat ladies. How are you, Jen?
There we go.
What
I've
a
heard
great
a lot
day.
lot of good things about you, so I'm very excited to hear all that you have to say.
They're all true. All the things.
Okay, good. Jill and I can't say the same thing, so this will be refreshing.
Okay.
So tell us, the question is like how you became an artist, how you became an author would be a great introduction for everybody to kind of get a background on who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you. I'm an artist, but I'm not an author. I'm an illustrator.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, at least right now, I will never rule anything out, of course. So I became an artist by being banned from art. My mother was a very serious watercolorist and tried to get me to paint when I was a kid, and I was terrible. And so she banned me from art for life. So I became a banker. And then when I was 47, a friend said, let's go to an art class. And I'm like, no, I was banned. They won't let me in. And she started laughing. You can't be banned from art.
Right.
And I went, and I never looked back, ever. Within a couple years, I was in a gallery, and then before you know it, I was collaborating on books. Books! Books.
I want to see your books.
Let's talk about books, because
Let's do that.
you guys have this amazing video series going, and people need to subscribe, right? So they don't miss any of this good stuff y'all are putting out in the world.
Nope.
So for all the viewers that subscribe today and leave a comment in your feed about something ridiculously embarrassing that happened to them, one of them is going to get not 1, 2, but 3 books free mailed to them, signed. My way of supporting y'all and the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Oh, that's really fun. That's going to be fun. Okay, so you're talking about and the funniest, like most embarrassing thing that ever happened?
Right. And why do I ask them to do that? It's because, at least in the art world, being vulnerable is the most important thing you can do. And to be comfortable with being vulnerable, making light of yourself, talking about your mess ups, your bad paintings, your embarrassing moments, your hats, whatever. So I want them to set an example.
Yes, it's all about authenticity.
It is. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So that's great.
So Jen, we're going to
Yeah.
head straight into you as our marketing guru. And
What?
so,
Oh.
yes, that's what you are. How did you come up with your marketing plan and business plan when you first began your art career?
Good question.
So I had a little bit of a head start because I had a background in banking, specifically small business lending. So I knew what worked and what didn't work. And the amount of work is the key word here, that's required. So I came up with a pretty simple strategy, and that was I was going to work harder than everyone else, number one. I was going to be willing to try everything, and that means being willing to fall on my face as many times as I needed to in order to get where I wanted to go. To check my ego at the door every day when I show up for work, because I don't know it all and I'm going to need to ask for help, and not to let my ego get in the way of me learning the right things. And then my last part of my business plan was to be nice, to be as nice as I could humanly be. Sounds like a weird strategy, but it has worked just beyond my imagination. So
Yeah. Sounds like a good combo to me. I get it. I totally get it. So talk to us about marketing and what you do, because we do know that you sell a lot. You sell 200 or so paintings a year. So, people would be really excited to know what's that recipe look like?
it's very simple. I'm going to ask you to take that bad word that you used in there, the M word, and throw it away. Throw away the S.
Which one?
Marketing.
Okay.
Throw that away. Throw away selling.
So what word should I use?
You should use the phrase, tell my story. What I do is I tell my story, whether it's the story of what I'm doing that day, what I'm painting, how I wrote or illustrated a book, how I wrote a blog, whatever, how I met Jill Lefkowitz or whatever. I'm telling my story every day, all the time, everywhere I can. And when you look at it that way, that whole thing that artists get in their head, marketing, you guys know, it makes you shut down and say, no, I'm going to go back to bed, right? If you take that word away and you're just telling your story, it becomes fun, it becomes connecting, it becomes creating a network of other humans that want to know more about you and you about them. And before you know it, it's just very easy and you're doing it all the time and it's not work anymore.
Right. That's
Tell your story. You don't sell, you tell your story.
Your blogs connect everybody to you. I mean, I look forward to your blogs. I read every word and I feel so connected to you because I can't talk to you all the time. So
thank you. I'm very lucky. The blog is going on 6 years now, I think. And I do have people who will reach out to me if I don't post it on time when they're expecting it and say, my morning can't start till I read this.
Great. So tell me what the blogs are about.
There are no rules in the blogs. They're about everything. Some of them are pretty serious. We'll tackle some tough topics in there and sadness and being wounded and how do you get over it. And then, recently I just posted a video my niece did, which was all burping. It just depends.
Hilarious.
And the fact that I'm not tuning into this makes no sense.
I know, right?
This is immediately.
Right. Thank you. Oh,
it's an emergency. It's a blog emergency.
It is a blog emergency. So for all the people out there who didn't know, like you, and they're not following, like you, go to jenjovan.com/blog, subscribe to my blog posts. At the end of this week, I'll pull a name, or Wonder Mike will, from everyone who has subscribed, and one person is going to get an original painting mailed to them just for becoming a subscriber.
Terrific. Terrific.
And win.
Yes, I love your redheaded girls. I always know that. I know your paintings. You definitely have a signature style, and I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
And on that note, Jen, tell us about having a signature style, and tell us how important that is for artists, and if it is important for artists to have a signature style.
So I'm going to be contrary on that. I'm going to say probably what you're not seeing is a signature style. You're seeing my voice. And the reason I say that is this. The woman who painted this is the same woman who painted this.
Yes.
These are not the same. It is not a signature style, but when I put my work out there, you know my voice, you know my brand. You know it's me putting it out there, whatever it is I put out there. So I guess a lot of places, some galleries, etc., say, you know, I want to see you focus on this. I want you to have this recognizable thing. And I say, no, don't fall for it, because you'll stop growing as an artist. Make your voice recognizable, whatever you're doing. Like Jill with her hats, I always know when it's Jill out there, right? And her power posts, whenever she's posting passionately about something, I know her voice. But it wouldn't matter to me what kind of art she was putting out there. I'd know it was Jill because of her voice. So brand your voice in the world, but do whatever you want with the art and don't stop growing. Because, right, we get to play every day, all day.
We do. And if you want to get into a gallery, galleries tend to want more of, you know, like a series and stuff like that. But I totally agree with what you're saying about growing as an artist.
Yes, like for instance, you can tell my style has changed. I do these very vibrant paintings. This is one and this is two. This is not one whole painting.
Wow.
Like this, for instance, okay? A lot of depth, there's a whole mathematical thing that goes with that. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because now I've changed my style to where my colors are softer. My shapes are bigger. You
Good.
know, it's just different, but yet you can still tell that that's me, you know? And Jill's doing very similar things. She's going to start doing that exactly and changing color palettes. And we're really starting to kind of branch out a little bit together and help one another with that.
Right.
I think if you look at any of the major painters, what they started painting is not what they ended up painting. So thank God they didn't stick with that style.
Yes.
Keep growing. No rules.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And a blog. Tell us why you think a blog is important. I know it's to connect with your audience. Tell me about that.
It's not that a blog is important. What's important is for you to know that your art, as glorious as it is, does not speak for itself. You have to give voice to your art. So whether that's a blog or a video series or writing songs about it or interpretive dance.
Right.
If you want to post yourself doing an interpretive dance that talks about your painting, that's great. But the point is for you to give it a voice, because you know what it's like to stand in a museum in front of a painting you know nothing about and not get it until someone tells you the story.
True.
Well, this was when this artist was doing this and learning that, and all of a sudden the light bulbs go off, right? And you're like, oh, I love that painting that I just hated 2 minutes ago, right? So you have to do that for your work. I choose a blog because I love to write. It's just
how long are your blogs? And I totally agree with you. Art becomes much more interesting. Jill and I really agree on this when the story behind it is shared. Like,
right.
You know, everyone would think, oh, an abstract painting, oh, a lot of lines. Jill's, oh my gosh, great use of color, great use of shape. She's got images in there. There is so much more to it than that. So when you start sharing, Jill becomes like really interesting. I don't know what the hell happens to me, but I have a story anyway. But hers is, you know, great, and it puts the human element in the work, and people want to know. So if we were to do something like that separately as artists, we would think that the thing to do would just be talk about our art. But what I hear you saying is you're talking about all kinds of things. You're talking about personal things, the way you're feeling. Is that correct?
Right, because
Not just art related.
Some of it is, there will always be a little snippet in there of how did I create this painting. But generally, the blog will be about what I've titled the painting, which may have nothing to do with the painting itself. It might just be a concept or a quote or something that I'm passionate about on that day, or amused by even. But the reason is it's for telling your story, is that when people buy art, they're buying you. They're buying that connection with you. And you know, if someone is a mean ogre of an artist, you don't care how good their painting is. You don't want that energy in your house.
That's true.
Right? But if you're telling the story of your vulnerability and the time you fell on your face and did this and that, but it's okay, I got up and did it again, you just connected to another human and made them feel like it's okay to be messed up or to be broken or to fall or whatever, and they feel seen and heard and validated and connected with. So you're telling that human connection story, and that's what they want from you as much as the story of the painting.
And I love it. I love in blogs how you always connect with quotes, like something that you're reading at the moment, and then you'll give us a quote. But then after the quote, you start explaining how that works within your own life. And this is why I quoted this person, and it really resonated with me. And so that's also part of the quote. I mean, part of the blog is that when I read the blog, then I feel the connection too, because I'm going, oh my God, I'm feeling like that today too. Yeah, Jen just said something that I'm going through. And so there's the other part of the connection that's so amazing that I love with
you're learning from one another as well.
Right.
And that just validated your own feelings about what you were going through, Jill, and you felt like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one.
Yes. Right. Yeah, exactly. Especially during this time where we're all going through the same thing, where we have our days of our ups and our downs, and
Tell me about it.
Each other up, and Jackie and I have been talking the last 2 days and trying to pull each other up.
Well, no. Let's be honest, Jill. Jill's been talking to me the last few days, pulling me up.
Wow.
She's been up. So it's the weirdest thing, because all of a sudden I paint 8 to 13 hours a day. All of a sudden I haven't gotten to the studio in like 9 days. I'm just sitting. I can't get there. I don't know if it's because I'm burnt. I want to break. I'm getting ready to go on vacation. I need something different, something new. I really can't pinpoint what it is, but that's something that I would like to talk about. And when I start painting, see what comes out from that.
Yeah.
This experience, I'm never down. I wake up happy, I go to bed happy. So this has been really weird, but Jill has helped pull me out of it. She's a good girl that way. She's my
I do feel it myself, even though I don't express it enough, but I think that's why I am able to help you, because I'm trying to help myself at the same time.
Yeah, don't ask me for help. Okay, I'm busy that day.
Enough about me. What do you think about me?
Exactly. Okay, let's talk social media.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, Jen, about social media? Do you have a favorite? I'm sure you interact with your artists, your followers. What works for you?
Yeah, well, again, let's go back to telling your story, and on social media, listening to, acknowledging, and commenting on the experiences of others.
Right.
It is a rare and wonderful tool. We can make someone else feel seen and heard. Incredibly powerful, but you have to show up every day, regularly, and remain part of the conversation and try to stay relevant every day. Every day.
Do you ask questions to engage people?
I generally do not. I guess just the way that my stuff is branded, and Jill, feel free to comment on this if you think I'm off base, but I think because of my openness, people automatically know that I want them to jump in and tell me whatever and post their things. And so I have no trouble engaging. But I've created a safe space as much as you can in a public forum to do that.
And Jen's all about helping other artists, and she's also a collector. And that was something like Jen always said to me, that you never know when another artist is going to be a collector. And sure enough, Jen became a collector for my work. She has a barrel that I created for her.
Oh,
Can I run up and down the stairs for a minute?
Yeah, I want to see.
Wait, is there some sort of theme music you can play right here?
Her hair.
Okay, we're going down the stairs. We're going down. We're going outside. Here we are in sunny Portland, where we are going to sit on my lovely little stoop and say, "Look who's here with me!"
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful!
Isn't she beauty?
Look at how that looks in front of your house with that pop of color with the door. And Jill, I love the palette. That was probably a commission piece, correct?
It was. She looked at the
How
colors of
nice.
my house.
I did. Jen
And
said, please do the colors of my house. And
It's like what I like about it is it's like a mix, and there's added colors. There's a lot of interest in that piece. It adds a lot. That's great.
and it
I'm going
makes
to go back inside just because the traffic noises will get in our way. But so that barrel is the talk of the neighborhood. This is
Oh, I love it.
a walking city. So everyone who walks by stops and says, "Where did you get that? How can I get one?" So I'm giving out Jill's information right and left.
Perfect.
I just wish she had a shop here in Portland where I could just take people there and say, "Here, pick a barrel."
You know,
And
Portland would
I
be
could make a living.
that would be
right. No, but listen, I have an idea, okay? So we get her into a gallery in Portland, right? And now you're an art consultant and you're making a percentage.
There you go.
Portland is not a super gallery scene. We are much more organic. Yeah. It's much more festival, being featured in other shops and things like that. And in a lot of the festivals, there aren't even any fees to get in. You just show up.
Well, that's cool.
And you're in the shop. You're in the what's the name of the shop again? Teacup?
The Salty Teacup in St. John's. They've been so good to me. My whimsical work fits there really well. So, but
That is great.
I decided this year to change my business model to go about 90% online.
Okay.
Hugely successful. And there are some reasons for that.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us.
Was that a little bit of a teaser there? So before COVID, online art sales were growing about 15% a year globally around the world. 15%, that market's growing. There's a report from 2019, so before the world fell apart. Almost 50% of big art spenders, and that's people who spend $100,000 a year or more on their art collection.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 50% of them bought art online before all this happened. Then you add to that, over 30% of millennials and young whippersnappers, I'll call them,
Yeah, they are.
buy art on their phone. So they don't even go to their computer. They go on their phone and, oh, I like that, boop, buy. And you know that the commissions you pay on your own website are zero, and that you pay on other online websites are much smaller than a regular gallery, and you're reaching a wider audience, an audience that is learning to expect online content like blogs and social media posts, and wants immediate, I want to see it, I want to buy it. They don't want to go to a gallery. So I think the business model is changing, and that's before COVID. Imagine what it's going to be like now.
Right.
People are buying art in a big way right now because we're all stuck here. We're futzing around and fixing up, zhuzhing our houses.
Yeah.
And we have changed everyone's purchasing behavior to say you're going to buy your art online.
Exactly.
So that's the wave. That's the insider information. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Do you sell prints?
So I do sell prints, but I don't stock them myself anymore. I just, if someone wants a print for something, I'll send them to Fine Art and have it printed off. I sell enough originals.
Because I only want to sell originals. So is that what Art Finder does?
Art Finder sells the originals, and I got to Art Finder by dating a lot of online gallery websites, like Saatchi, which I did try. But you need to date them almost like it's a dating app. I'm gonna go out with this one, and then I'm gonna go out with that one, and I'm gonna see which one I connect with. Art Finder's a little super friendly, modern, casual, not hoity-toity, because my followers tend to be a little more down to earth than some. And it was a good fit for me, but I tried many to find that. So date a bunch of places, and you'll find the one that jives with the way you like to work.
You know, do you think that the price point of Art Finder, like some of my things are $2,800, do you think price point is something to consider when you're picking your place in which to sell?
I think the majority of the online galleries have a very wide spread. They've got the more easily consumable art, and then they've got the high-end stuff too. Art Finder has $10,000, $15,000 items on it.
Perfect. Oh, I'm
As well as
excited.
my stuff, which tends to be, under $2,500. So.
Right. So is that the only one that you do?
It is currently the only one that I do other than my own website, which I am slowly teaching people. That's where you go if you want the best price and to grab the art before others might. So
Okay, so are you saying that your prices are not straight across the board? When you buy from you, you get a better price than when you buy from,
always, because I don't have to pay commission.
right?
So the buyer ends up in a better position, and so do I.
Yeah.
And then you can give them discounts because you're not giving that 25, 35% to somebody else, which is what Jen does. And she has specials and all kinds of wonderful things and giveaways. So, and so Jen, tell us your top three well, not supposed to say marketing, your top three tips on,
That's it. Tips.
on selling and or strategizing.
The top three things to do to tell your story.
Tell your story.
Yes. The first thing is to remember the 80-20 rule. And Jill might know this from my dog and pony show on getting your art out there, is that 80% of your time is going to be spent on telling your story. And 20% is going to be spent on painting.
Right.
So you're going to budget your time every day that I'm going to touch social media 3 times. I'm going to touch all these places. I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to gather information and share information. That's the bulk of your work, is telling your story. And this little bit of it is actually the painting. So with that, on top of that 80-20 rule of always telling your story, we're going to go back to where my business plan started, which is you're going to try everything. You're going to try all the different websites and all the different formulas. Maybe I'll do prints, maybe I'll do this and that, until you settle on, oh, here's the sweet spot for me and for my art and for the way that I work. But unless you try all of them and fall on your face on a bunch of them, you're not going to find the ones that are super sweet and profitable and fun, because you have to have fun. It can't be a drag or you won't do it.
Right. And so tell us something else, Jen, that we could do, because I think that what a lot of artists are experiencing, especially right now, is utter frustration and feeling overwhelmed. Like, where do I begin? There's all this information, because now there's art coaches and all these different people, and some of them say similar things, some of them don't. And then you also have, okay, there's Instagram and there's Facebook. So give us a tip on how to not be overwhelmed.
Just start. For starters, and don't try to do everything at once. Don't try to eat the whole elephant. Just start with the tail.
You said Jill.
Just the tail. Start with the tail of the elephant, because this is an elephant, all the things, right?
And that's the tastiest part.
Right. So
That's an analogy I've ever heard.
a little hot sauce. Whatever.
A little guacamole.
A little guacamole.
Jill was just saying this. We were like both talking about how overwhelmed we were. And Jill finally says, why do we have to do everything? Why don't we just do this?
Yeah.
And do this. Let's start and really let's master these two things. I'm like, okay, this is good. This is very smart.
So we're at the tail. We're at the tail right now.
Start with the tail. I mean, when you get to the haunches, you might want to slow down, chew a little more, but
master whatever it is that you're focusing on before doing on this, that, and the other. Let's really get good, right?
Exactly.
And also remember, with respect to art coaches and all that other advice, if you're coming out and doing the things the way that they're telling you to do them, collectors are savvy and intuitive. That's why they feel your art, right? They're going to feel if this is not authentically you doing things your way. So I would encourage you to look at that elephant and pick the part you personally like and think is fun, and screw whatever the coaches say and go do your thing. And you're going to have fun doing it. You're going to fail a lot and share your stories. And all those humans out there are going to say, oh my God, I so connect with this person, because they're like fearless and they do it anyway, even though they don't know what they're doing. And you're going to make connections that are authentic, and they're going to feel that.
Well, thank you, Jen. I have to tell you, you are fierce, fabulous, fantastic, wonderful.
A little alliteration.
That's our special word, actually, Jen. It happens organically.
A little alliteration to end. Okay, I like it.
And so, Jen, will you come back again and share some more of your wisdom?
Only if we can wear hats.
Oh, we'll
I'll
wear
wear a
hats.
hat.
We're there. We're gonna wear hats. Well, you know, I'm gonna wear a hat. Jackie's on.
I just started getting into the hats because of Jill.
That's what I'm so thrilled.
I'll try to up my game.
There you
I don't know. You're doing pretty good there, babe.
that is a hat. I love that.
I know what time it is at least.
It, well, this is our show, and thank you, Jen, our most amazing guest. We love
Thank you, Jen.
you.
This was fun. I can't wait
In
to see you
Portland,
again.
Oregon, people. She is in 18 hours behind us right now.
Yes.
I said that to you on the phone this morning. I'm like, I'm your future. I'm 3 hours ahead.
But we're going to put all your information on the screen with your website and your Facebook and all about you. And we want to see you again. And you're adorable and you were a great guest. And I really thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in, sharing.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Terrific, Jen. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Bye.